Well, hello and welcome to this episode of the Monday Minute. My name is Ken Freeman, and here's what I have for you today. Where do you find new volunteers? The problem is this: volunteer recruitment is a major challenge for today's nonprofit organizations. As the story goes, pregnancy help centers even find it more challenging because of the current political climate, the strong opposition to how pregnancy centers are perceived by the general public, and if that wasn't bad enough, the problem is further exacerbated by current ever-increasing financial crisis that has forced even more women to go back to work, reducing the number of available volunteers for your center. So let's look at this topic starting with volunteer recruitment. According to an article by Susan Ellis and Energize Incorporated, perhaps the best volunteer recruitment is also the simplest. Start with the resources in closest proximity to your center. What untapped treasures might be across the street or on the next block? Picture your facility at the center of a bullseye, and with concentric circles around it. Now do the following. If you live in an urban area, walk out of your front door with a clipboard and pen. Of course, take a volunteer with you. And if you are more rural, do the same thing by driving around your area. The point is to create a tight circle around your center and then write down everything that you see there: stores, businesses, parking lots, churches, apartment houses, schools. It is vital to do this physically, even if you feel reasonably sure that you know who are in your neighborhood. Why? Because you will soon discover that you'll tend to be aware of things that are present in the one direction that you normally take every day, and thus you will become aware of new things, new organizations, new businesses that might be a potential for your center. After a while, you'll no longer see what you're looking at. And number three, you may see some things you may not see as identifiable. For example, passing a company named, say, Mighty Corporation emblazoned on a large sign. You may not know from that name what this company does. However, behind every door is a potential volunteer and donor, and they likely don't even know your center exists. Making contact with your neighbors is much easier than approaching resources across town. And after all, it's always legitimate to make an acquaintance of folks nearby. Develop a special flyer or a letter introducing your agency and have your address on it, and address it to our neighbors. Leave it with them. Explain the services that you have on that brochure. Depending on your comfort level and the culture of your neighborhood, mail the materials in small batches and follow up within a week by a phone call or go in person and deliver a copy of the material. Success in recruiting and retaining volunteers is serious business, perhaps even life or death in organizations that face severe financial constraints. Without volunteers, many faith-based human service organizations cannot be sustained. Developing effective strategies for effective recruiting and retention of volunteers should be high priorities in your pregnancy center. Helping volunteers to see the distinctiveness of your organization is an effective strategy for retaining volunteers. Highlight regularly and often the services and programs that your organization uniquely offers to all participants and volunteers. Speak more often about the stake that volunteers have in upgrading and maintaining their community. As members and residents of your community, volunteers have an emotional attachment to that community and have personal interest in possibly wanting to advance the benefit to that community. So here's what I want you to do. Download today's absolutely free but vitally important 7-page report. Here's what it will mean to you. You will learn from nonprofit expert Susan Ellis details how and why to canvass your neighborhood as a creative way for finding and recruiting new volunteers. You will also learn helpful tips and ideas on how to retain your volunteers. So here's what I want you to do. Download the PDF report at monday-minute.com/downloads/mm92.pdf. Tell another director about the Monday Minute, and this week, will you take a moment to answer this most important question? What are the 3 most challenging issues facing your center? Email me your answer at askkenfreeman@gmail.com. I really want to hear from you this week. Or call me at your convenience at 214-703-0505. Until next week, when I really look forward to bringing you another free Monday Minute, remember this: keep up the good work you're doing. You are making a difference, and the other side just can't stand it. Thanks for listening.